What's up, guys? 8 days out from Waterpalooza. Gonna hit a little bit of snatching today. And I got some things I want to talk about as far as programming goes for competitions. And I compete in CrossFit, but I'm also a big fan of the sport, which is the community and the space. And I listen to a lot of CrossFit content. Listen to a lot of the Savon podcast, Coffee Pods and Wads, Quiet Zone Media, Shut Up and Scribble, Give the Programming, and there's others. But I also listen to the Barbell Spin quite a bit. He's feeling pretty good today. Yeah, I listened to a lot of the Barbell Spin. And a while ago, they were talking about programming. More specifically, talking about the Dubai CrossFit Championships and one of the Australian comps. I can't remember which one. It's happening around the same time. They were talking about, more specifically, Olympic weightlifting and if it's over-programmed in competitions, the 1-rep maxes and stuff, you know. Saw it at the games, saw it at semis, saw it in Dubai and other comps, and that's just in this last season. And they're kind of going back and forth. If it's programmed too much. I love talking about programming.
Titillated.
It's one of my favorite things. And John Young brought up a pretty good point. He said, you know, we see a lot of 1-rep maxes tested for Olympic weightlifting, but we also always see running. I also see a lot of running, especially single modality. You pretty much always see it at the games. We ran 3 times at semis and I think at least 3 times at the games this year. And he said, you know, nobody complains about that. He's kind of got a point. But then kind of makes me think about a bigger question. You know, are we testing single modality events too often? So you got to ask yourself, if we test single modalities, can we do it in a way that it is well-rounded and helps us find the fittest person? But typically, people will tell you you shouldn't do it in the open because of the field that you're pulling from, the pool you're pulling from. There's too many outliers and there's not enough tests. Okay. Typically, people don't like to see it at quarters. Okay. You see it at semis. It's not always super popular, but they kind of make the argument it can be okay as long as the other events are well-rounded. And nobody complains when it's at the games. You know, if it's one event out of 12, and it doesn't matter. But if it's not okay at every level of competition, why is it okay at the games? Well, there's more tests. You can have more opportunities to build a well-rounded test of events. Okay? But to me, that feels You know, at first it sounds like a good answer, but I think it's a little bit not that well thought out. I think, you know, saying 2 single modality tests out of 6 at semis is too much because it's a third of the test. You know, you couldn't have that much bullshit in there. Say, okay, but then I ask, why is it okay to have just a little bit of bullshit at the games then? We are testing for the fittest on Earth. The programming is pretty important. You see, what single modality stuff do we see at the games? Well, this last year we saw, you know, kind of the big 3. You saw the running, the Olympic total, and the gymnastic skills test. I think you can also throw the bike event in there, as essentially that's a single modality test as well. So in my eyes, we have 4 out of 12 events at the games. They're very specific single modality tests. That's 4 out of 12. That's 1/3. Well, 2 out of 6 is also 1/3, and that's too many at regionals. Why is 1/3 of the events of the games being single modality okay? So then I start to wonder, can you find the fittest if you just have a broad range of well-balanced single modality tests? All right, set 1, snatch, aim snatch. And so that made me think of Adam Klink. A lot of you guys might know him. Trained across for Krypton, Ben Smith. 2018, he was 7th at his regional. He was 2 spots away from qualifying for the games, but he never did qualify for the games as an individual. He was 2nd on a team, but never qualified individually. What he's probably more well known for is being the guy who back squatted 500 pounds and ran a sub 5-minute mile on the same day. So that's pretty impressive. I don't know if there's any games athletes that could do it, that could do that. Maybe there are, but I'm not sure. Set 2. So then I thought, well, if we had the first 2 tests of the games both be single modality, or sometimes they are. Let's say test 1 was event 1. Event 1 was 1 rep max back squat. Event 2, the 1 mile run for time. And let's say Adam Klink was in the field. I'm not so sure that he wouldn't be first place overall after those 2 events. This is a guy that's never qualified individually for the games. So is our single modality test a good way to find who's the fittest? And if you look at this scenario, I think you'd have to say no. Rich Froning has often said he thinks the best way to test strength is in a format similar to what we've seen in the Open a couple times, like the workout with the total bar, double under, and ascending weight clean and jerks. Or maybe it's cleans. And there's another one another year with clean and jerks, pistols and box step ups maybe. And after thinking about it, I'd have to agree with him. You know, why did we test certain things in a single modality pattern, like weightlifting, running, swimming, biking, rowing, sometimes gymnastics, like a 30 muscle ups for time, when it's probably much more effective when you put it inside of a CrossFit style workout. Here's another thing for you to think about. If we just had, say, a 50 calorie for time on the Echo Bike, there's a lot of people that could beat a lot of the games athletes in that. If we had just 30 ring muscle ups for time, there's a lot of people that could beat a lot of the games field in that. But let's say that we did a workout. Let's say it was 24 calorie Echo Bike, 12 ring muscle up, or no, excuse me, let's do 30 calorie Echo Bike, 15 muscle up, 24 calorie Echo Bike, 12 muscle up, 18 calorie Echo Bike, 9 muscle up. How many people in the world do you think could beat the games athletes in that? I think the answer would be very few, very few. And they would be high-level elite CrossFitters. They're the only ones who'd have a chance. So if that's the case, why don't we test running in the top end of Olympic weightlifting strength and all these other things within the context of a CrossFit workout rather than doing several single modality tests? All right, next set. I'd really like to hear, Chase and Bill's thoughts on this, and Shut Up and Scribble thoughts on this. Taylor and JR. Because I'm kind of starting to think that there's really no place for single modality tests at high level CrossFit events. I think it's ineffective at finding who is really the fittest. I think it weights the scoring towards those single movements in a way that is not conducive to finding the fittest. We wouldn't do an event that's one set, max effort, handstand push-ups. But we can test handstand push-ups, but it's always in the form of a CrossFit style event. I think we should be thinking about doing the same for all those other single modalities that we see a lot of. That's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Waterpalooza prep going really well. The body is adjusting to the intensity really well. Knees feeling better every day. Rehab's going really well. I'm very excited to get out there in 8 days. Flying out in like 6 days, I think. This video probably won't come out for a few days though. feel pretty good. That'll be good for today on the snatches. That's the complex we're going to see at Waterpalooza. I don't need to get extremely heavy today for a few reasons. I don't want to peak today. I'm going to peak in 8 days. I know the adrenaline and the preparedness of my body will be different when we get out there. I'd really like to hit 275, 280 at the comp. I think that's a good number for today. I don't want to max out because, again, I don't want to peak today. I'm not trying to peak yet. 1 more week. Be patient. And know that things will fall into place as long as you set yourself up for success, prepare properly. All right, that's it for this video, guys. I'll catch you later.